Coming in at number 10, Servonauts provides a fun and somewhat hectic time for 1 to 4 players. The basic pitch for this game is Overcooked, but more puzzle-based. Your goal is simple: deliver gas to vehicles as fast and as cheaply as you can. But it wouldn't be enjoyable without a little bit of a twist. On top of drilling your standard black fuel, you will also need to make machines to change the color to match the vehicle's request, and sometimes even mix 2 colors together.
This is made even more complicated by the chaotic obstacle-filled levels you find yourselves in. From dodging lasers, walking quickly over collapsing platforms, and pressing buttons to open doors, you will certainly have your hands full. Throw in the stretchy pipes you use to do all the work, and you have a pretty fun party game.
We know that you're always looking for the best couch co-op games, and so are we, so we've put together a list of all of the best ones from 2024, and for the first time ever, we have ranked them from great to greatest. Just a quick disclaimer, we received a lot of these games for free, so thank you to the publishers for providing codes, because without them, we would have never been able to afford to make a video like this one.
Next up, we have the meats. Iron Meat anyway. This run and gun shooter harkens back to the good old days of Contra, but brings in a slightly different concept as an interdimensional biomass called the Meat has mutated humans and machines into grotesque fleshy monsters to do its bidding.
The game will have you running through 9 levels, blasting at enemies, swapping out weapons, and enjoying a little bit of platforming in what is mostly just a brutal shooter to have fun with the bros. There are multi-phase boss fights and a lot of things to call unfair. But if you just want something a little challenging that lets you blast monsters away for a couple of hours, this is your game.
Plate Up was technically released in 2022 if you count early access, but it came to consoles this year, so we'll count it. This is a very interesting roguelike game that takes out the battling and replaces it with Overcooked-like mechanics. You're starting your own restaurant, and that means serving wave after wave of customers. You'll be cooking salads, steaks, and whatever other meals you add to your menu.
After each successful night, you'll get the chance to upgrade your setup, add new tables, more counter space, new appliances, or decorations. You get to choose whether you want to make your place classy or focus more on the fast food side of things. Each has its own challenges and benefits. It's really in-depth and meshes the cooperative chaos of Overcooked with the addicting replayability of the roguelite genre.
Crossy Road Castle surprised us. Just looking at this game, we never would have guessed how fun it actually is. At its core, it is a 2D platformer, but it's basically endless. You'll run through multiple procedurally generated towers filled with micro levels. Seriously, most of the levels can be completed in under 30 seconds, and then bam, you're on to the next level of the tower. You'll just continue making your way up until you complete enough levels to unlock the next tower.
The towers feel different, get trickier, and have different bosses, but one of my favorite things is that this was simple enough to play with my 3-year-old son. Sure, he couldn't play through every level, but a few seconds after we would go through the door, it would teleport him to us, and if he died in the level, he would just come back immediately on the next floor. It's a little more hectic with more players, but it also gives you a better chance of making it farther up the tower. The sound effects are really satisfying, the game is a little addictive, and there is tons of customization to unlock.
The more people you play with, the harder this game is going to be. We had a fantastic time playing with 2 to 3 players, but I'd imagine that getting a full 8 players could be a complete nightmare. Pico Park 2 is another one of those don't judge a game by its art style types. Yes, it looks very simple, but the co-op in this game is perfection. And the art style lets the simple but intriguing mechanics shine even more.
The best genre to describe this is probably a puzzle platformer, but even that's not really it. The game provides several different worlds, each with its own quirk. Sometimes you'll just be platforming, other times you'll be using a vacuum to grip one another and bridge gaps, or you'll be in a shoot 'em up taking on a spaceship. Other times you'll be trying to slide between moving lasers, and all of you have to make it through or you'll start over again. That's the kind of level that makes it a lot harder the more friends you have. But one of the coolest features is that each level will adjust to work properly with however many players you have. Pulling this one out at parties is sure to be a blast.
While we are in the middle of the list, here are a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut. Rotwood released into early access on Steam. This is a roguelike dungeon crawler that looks right down our alley and has mostly positive reviews. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake is an absolutely fantastic game, but as a remake of an 11-year-old game, it felt a little odd to include in this list. Lastly, Mario vs. Donkey Kong added a fun co-op mode to its 2D puzzle platforming, but again, as a remake, it didn't make the cut.
Narrowly slipping into the top 5, we have LEGO Horizon Adventures. This game was designed with co-op in mind, and you can really tell. There is a fun cast of characters to choose from, each with their own unique weapons, and the game does a fantastic job of bringing the world and lore of Horizon into a more approachable LEGO package. You can adjust the difficulty and accessibility settings to fit whoever you're playing with, whether that's a 3-year-old or a more experienced adult.
We really enjoyed shooting machines and bandits together, while also experimenting with all of the environmental hazards and rare weapons scattered throughout the levels. There's also a ton of customization as you build up Mother's Heart and try on silly outfits. But ultimately, the thing that really shines here is the humor. LEGO games are notoriously funny, and we found ourselves laughing repeatedly throughout our playthrough.
Nico DeRico: The Magical World surprised me with what is actually some pretty decent voice acting, albeit a little bit slow. But also, the gameplay here is fantastic. This is like a co-op Crash Bandicoot meets Donkey Kong Country. You play as two mongooses. Mongoose? I don't know. The game is mostly 2D platforming levels, but on occasion they turn to third person. There are crates to hop on, tons of collectibles to gather, and a variety of different enemies to defeat or avoid.
The environments here are super cute and fun to make your way through. The game is really challenging solo, but much easier with a friend to revive you whenever you die. Another thing that makes this game unique is the fun little animals it introduces for you to ride. From a flying pterodactyl thing to a chomping little alligator, it's a fun little quirk. While the screen doesn't quite zoom out as much as we would like for co-op play, all of the hidden secrets and tight platforming make this a great choice.
If you love gaming together as much as we do, and these videos help you find new games to play together, we would love it if you helped us create more content by joining the co-op crew at thecoopstop.com/support. Whether it's uncovering the best couch co-op games or finding new gaming accessories for two, you'll be helping couples around the world strengthen their relationships through gaming and keeping our controllers charged. So thank you so much to all of our supporters, and we hope to see you come and join them.
Get ready to have a smurfing good time in the Smurfs' dreams. This is a 3D platformer that actually impressed me. These games are tough to get right with multiplayer, but this one does it. And on top of that, the levels are also interesting. Gargamel has put all of the Smurfs to sleep, so now it's your job to go through their dreams and wake them up. Each Smurf's levels are themed after them. Food-based levels for Chef Smurf, and cutesy levels for Smurfette.
It's pretty simple in the way that it works, but each new Smurf actually introduces a new mechanic and puzzles, like having to look in mirrors to navigate the level, or fun little items like a gun that can shoot enemies and also activate things in the level, or a hammer that can smash enemies and build up walls or destroy walls. This was definitely one of our favorite co-op games this year.
As fans of Stardew Valley, it's no shock that Ever After Falls hit right with us. This game makes a play into all the same spaces. The game starts with you getting hit by a car and waking up from a simulation. You are now the only human in a close-knit community of talking animals. You start putting together your farm, selling your crops, chopping trees, cultivating animals, and collecting fairies to automatically gather materials for you.
From spinning wheels and furnaces to terrariums and silkworm farms, it has all of the progression that we love and more. There is fishing to be done, exploring to be had, foraging to be about, tons of random quests to complete, and a dungeon to defeat. We have spent hours in this one, and it still feels like there is so much more to explore and do. You can eat cards to gain new abilities, have your pet carry around some of your items, and build the greatest farm in Ever After Falls.
Finally, the perfect number one. Cat Quest 3 captured our hearts immediately. This is an action RPG that is absolutely filled with cat puns around every corner and tucked in every nook. The game features a fantastic story with many different bosses to defeat. Playing as a cute little cat, you will sell the Perubian and strive to beat the Pirate King and his cronies to the North Star treasure so you can keep it for yourself.
As you explore the open world of the Perubian, you will level up your character, learn new skills, and find new weapons and gear to combine into fantastical synergies. The world is littered with side quests to complete, treasure to find, and an endless amount of pirates to defeat. This is the ultimate game for cat lovers and anyone else who enjoys fantastic gameplay, an amusing story, and stupid cat puns.
2024 was great, but this video right here will take you through the best couch co-op games of 2023. Can't wait to see you over there. We love you guys.
Y'all are awesome.